Hello and welcome to our lesson on quadratics, factoring with numbers and variables, part 1, a more advanced look. First, let's talk a definition. A quadratic is an equation that usually has 3 terms in it. It's written in standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c, and then a, b, and c are all considered constants or numbers. A and b cannot equal 0 at the exact same time, and the term ax squared is always to the second power. If they tell us we need to factor this quadratic equation right here, there's an 8-step method to factor using a t-chart. Don't let the fact that it's 8 steps scare you. It's actually pretty quick once you practice it, and it makes it a lot shorter than if you try to do guess and check, which could take you 20 minutes, 30 minutes, quite a while to do, depending on the size of your quadratic. Now, first step, make sure that all the coefficients are reduced fully. So we're looking at 6, negative 33, and the number 15 as well. It turns out that all 3 of those numbers can be reduced by a factor of 3. So if we take out 3, we're going to end up with 2x squared minus 11x plus 5. And that still equals 0. Notice that I kept the x squared and the x, I kept all the signs, and I also kept equals 0. All I was doing was taking a third of it away. Now we're going to focus in on just this equation right here. That's going to be our new quadratic that we're going to factor. Then, after you do your make sure that they're all reduced, you can just list out A, B, and C. Seems kind of silly, but if you don't list them out, you're going to go cross-eyed trying to find numbers halfway through. If you list them out, you can see them right there, and it's really quick and easy to find. So your A value is 2, your B value is negative 11, and your C value is 5. Notice how I took the signs with them. The 2 was positive, the 11 was negative, both up here and here in the list as well. And since the 5 was positive, it's a positive here. Also, only take the numbers. Do not take the variables with them. That's wrong. Only the numbers go as the list of A, B, and C. Then we can move on to step 2. Fill out the left side of the t-chart. Why is it called a t-chart? Because it's shaped like the letter T. On the left side of the t-chart, you're going to take whatever your A is and multiply it by your C. In this case, we're taking A times C. See how easy it was to just look on the list rather than try to dig back through this long quadratic equation? So A times C is 2 times 5, which is 10. So we're looking at the number 10. And what you're going to do in this section of the t-chart is you're going to list all the factors that create the number 10. 1 and 10 make 10. 2 and 5 make 10. 10 is also a positive number. So to create a positive number with multiplying, you say positive 1 times positive 10. You can also say negative 1 times negative 10. Same here, you can say positive 2 times positive 5 and negative 2 times negative 5. That's going to be important. And you can also take a little step ahead and write down the right side of your t-chart. And that's simply whatever B is, which is negative 11. Now in step 3, we're going to fill out the right side of the t-chart. Remember, B is negative 11, and A times C is 10, and we have positives and negatives. Positives and negatives. What you're going to do on the right side of the t-chart is list out your factors, and they need to be add or subtracting to create the number negative 11. So first, if we have a positive 1 and we add a positive 10, we're going to get a positive 11. Then we can take our negatives. A negative 1 minus 10 is going to create a negative 11. That's all the ones for 10. And now we're going to look at the 2 and the 5 factors. So if we have a positive 2 and we add 5, we're going to get a positive 7. If we have a negative 2 and subtract 5, we're going to get a negative 7. We've listed out all our factors, then we've either added or subtracted them, depending on what their signs were. There were 2 positives and 2 negatives on both lists of factors, so that's what we use to create the right side. You need to circle the factors that work. Remember, we're trying to find the factors that come together to create a negative 11. This did not work, this worked, and these did not work. So it turns out that our factors of negative 1 and 10, negative 1 and negative 10 both created negative 11, and negative 1 times negative 10 created a positive 10. That's the first part of it. So for a quick review, in order to factor a quadratic equation, you use the t-chart method first, mark your a, b, and c, fill out the left side of the t-chart to find the factors, watch your signs, fill out the right side of the t-chart to see which set of those factors add or subtract to the b value, again watch your sign, and then circle the factors that work. And that's it for quadratics, factoring with numbers and variables, part 1, a more advanced look.